So you've heard the saying, fake it until you make it. And in this video, I want to talk about how that kind of applies to filmmaking and cinematography and this career in general. If you're new here, I'm Spencer Sakurai. I'm a cinematographer. I've been doing this for 15 years now. I've shot for brands like Adidas, T-Mobile, ESPN, Google, and I've shot 2 full-length feature films. And on this channel, we talk candidly about the industry and how to move forward as a cinematographer, how to get better at cinematography. But in this video, I want to talk about the beginning stages, because if you are faking it until you make it, you haven't made it, right? You are on your way to making it. You want to make it. So what does that even mean, fake it till you make it? Well, generally speaking, it basically just means like show up and do a thing, call yourself a thing until you're really doing the thing, right? And maybe that feels inauthentic. Maybe it feels like you're not ready to do that. And so why would you show up and say you are what you are? Well, an anecdote that I like to use and where I like to start with is this. I hear all the time of people being, maybe they're climbing the traditional ladder. Maybe they think that they can start out as a PA on a film set, or they can start out as a camera assistant or a grip to meet people and be on set, which works, and I'm not against at all. But at some point, you have to start calling yourself what you want to be, because that's really the only difference between someone that is a camera assistant or a DP, right? It's like they are now saying they are a DP, and you're like, well, now you have to have something to show for it. And that may be true, but if you keep just being an AC and not work in the DP way, if you don't try to fill that role, how are you going to become a DP? Many, many years back, I was on a set, and it was just a friend basically, and they called me and they're like, hey, we lost this position. It was a second AC gig, I believe. And I had just moved back to Oklahoma from Texas, and I needed some work. I needed to get back in the industry. And I was fully a DP at this point, but I needed to get back in, kind of network my way back in. They're like, can you just come in, fill in on the second AC gig? And I was like, sure. So I showed up, and I didn't realize how large this production was. It was like a big budget tire commercial or something, and they were like, you're the second AC, and I was like, not really prepared for that, because I've always been a DP. I had AC'd before, but like my kind of mindset and my ethos is so much more around shooting and creating images that this was hard filling this role. But I was like, sure, I'll do it. And I fumbled, of course. But I was sitting there talking to the AC, and he was from Chicago, and he said that he had not had a day off in something like 6 weeks or something as an AC. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. Like, good for you. You are working AC. You are in the industry. You're making money. You're traveling from Chicago to Oklahoma. All great things. And when I think it was at lunch or something, I asked him, I was like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to be a DP? And he was like, yeah, I want to be a DP. But sitting there watching him and talking to him, I realized over the course of the conversation that he had been an AC for like 10 years. Or something to that degree. It was quite a long time. And I was like, wait a second, you want to be a DP, but you've been an AC for 10 years? And I'm not throwing shade or saying that's a wrong way of doing it, but you can see how he was not faking it until he made it. He was actually fully committing to this AC thing. And later, I fumbled a lot on that shoot because I wasn't a well-trained second camera assistant, especially not for the level of production that it was. Lots of crew, lots of shots to get. A lot more than I was used to on that side of things. And so we get in the car later, and he's like going to drive me to my car or something like that, because we're out by this lake. And he says, you're a shooter, aren't you? And I kind of looked at him and I was like, yeah. And he just quickly knew, like, I wasn't built to be a second AC, and you could tell immediately that my focus was on shooting. And that's where the lane I had chosen and the lane that I had experience in, right? There's not like saying there's one lane that's better than the other, but you could see the lane I had picked and my mindset was in. And when I left that conversation, what that revealed to me was like, maybe he's not a shooter, or he's not yet, or he hasn't decided to pick that lane and pick that role and to lean into being a DP. Because it's one thing to be on set all the time, and honestly, being a camera assistant and being around DPs all the time is good. You can learn a lot. But until you practically start doing the job, it's going to be hard to fully envelop that role and actually learn how to be a DP. It can be theory all day, but until you start practicing and applying it, how are you going to be that? So bringing that back around to fake it till you make it. Early in my career, I was like, yeah, I'm a DP. And at that point, I mean, I had only shot maybe like 2 short films or something like that. I'm like, I'm a DP. And quickly, I got asked to shoot like a little budget, like small budget commercial in my local market. And because I had already said I was a DP and I had already shot things, and so word of mouth was like, yeah, Spencer's a DP. It really was that easy. And I'm not saying that it's always this easy, but you have to commit to the role. You have to call yourself what you are, what you want to be, or you cannot become that, right? And I say this a lot. If you want to shoot weddings, well, if you shoot 1 wedding, you're going to get asked to shoot 2 more, right? So if you're being an AC and you want to be a DP, do you see how that's going to create resistance? If you are an AC on 1 job, you're going to get called for 2 more AC jobs, right? People are going to start thinking of you as an AC. So this is a sacrificial thing that has to happen. You have to commit to this. Commit to what you want to be, even if you're bad at it. Because no job, a job being a DP, even if you suck, might be better ultimately for your career or for the role or for what you want over a job where you're an AC and you're not being a DP. You know, when people are transitioning, it's really hard for them to transition from one job on set to another because they've already kind of branded themselves as one thing. And so you have to really commit to that when you do the transition. You have to say, I'm a DP now. You have to start turning down those AC jobs, right? And this goes for all aspects of it. If you're a wedding shooter, but you don't want to be a wedding shooter anymore, and I've been learning this with my Discord community over at the DP Mindset. These are the people that are in my community that signed up for my course, and then you get kind of exclusive access to talk to me, and we chat in there. And a couple people are, you know, they're wedding filmmakers, right? And they want to transition into doing more like commercial work, corporate work, etc. But that's a hard thing to transition because you're like, oh, I know you for shooting weddings. You shoot that style of video. So at some point you have to say, no more weddings. I only do this, right? And so this is the fake it part. This is the fake it part. You have to start faking. I'm just a DP for the other stuff. I don't do weddings anymore. And obviously, financially speaking, that can be hard. And maybe you need to save some money from the wedding gigs or from your AC gigs, etc., to start just committing to being a DP. And you can transition. You can do some stuff on the side. You can do some DP work on the side, build up a reel, and that'll take more time, and the transition may not be as smooth. But maybe financially that could be good for you. But the reality is you need to keep that faking it. So if I were to do this now, if I were to start over, you know, I would practice alone. I'd grab a camera, I'd grab a light, try to film myself, try to film a little project myself, get some frames, start practicing as a DP, start practicing that role. And then after you feel a little bit more comfortable with that, maybe then you get together with a few more people to shoot something. Maybe you plan a little spec project to shoot with some other friends that are trying to learn their role. Maybe there's someone that I want to learn to pull focus. Okay, invite them over. And maybe you're back just in your house. It doesn't matter. Do it for free. Do spec work for free. Try to just make something. And the more you keep acting like a DP, faking it as a DP, very quickly you'll realize, oh, I am a DP now. And maybe this sounds like trite, but it is. Until you try to be the thing, you will not be the thing. Until you say that you are the thing, you will not be the thing, right? So then I would do something on spec. And I don't mean like make something spec for yourself, but like then I would go out and find maybe a little company, maybe a restaurant, maybe something to that degree, and offer free work if they can't pay for it, and be like, can I shoot this project for you? And the moment you shoot a project for someone else as a DP, you are a DP, right? Maybe it's a short film, maybe it's a commercial project, then you're a DP. And then there's no more imposter syndrome. There's no more faking it anymore because someone allowed you to do that job and then you did it. And then this levels up, right? If you want to be a professional DP, the moment you do something like that and someone gives you more than $1 for it, you are now a professional DP. You are a professional cinematographer. So like, what's holding you back from doing that? Just because you're not confident in the job, confident in the role, say yes anyways. And that brings us to that. When you're doing this career, if you don't feel confident in something, that's fine. But I would highly suggest you say yes to any inquiry anyways. I've been asked to do a lot of things in my career. Early in my career, my 20s. I had shot a few things. They got recognition. Were they great? Did I know what I was doing? I don't know, but they got recognition, and me and my friends got asked to do these bigger budget things for big brands. And did I say no? No, I did everything in my power to be on those sets and do the job regardless of my ability or my confidence in my abilities. And that led to more opportunities immediately. So if you don't commit to it, if you don't believe in yourself, or even if you do it anyways, if you don't believe in yourself, because you'll find that that's basically self-promotion. Word of mouth is like one of the best ways of promoting anything in any market. And so by being on set as a DP, you are now going into someone's brain as a DP. And it's a first impression thing. If you show up and you go, there's AC, that's so-and-so the AC, boom, and it's the first time you met that person on that set, and then that can be on any sort of thing. Boom, you're going lodged into the file system of that person's brain as a camera assistant, right? So if you're already doing that, that's fine, but then you need to start rebranding. You start showing them, be like, I'm a DP now. You get a text message, you get a call, hey, can you come be an AC on this job? You have to say no to those. But at first, if you aren't in that position, if you're not in the transitioning position, you're just starting, well, then I encourage you to start out doing the thing that you want to do. Say you're a DP. And if you fail, that's okay. It wasn't aligned yet. You weren't ready for it, but you will still find that if you promote yourself as that, you will get more opportunities to get better and better. And then that your network will grow. You want that network to grow with you. If you are early in your career, you're going to probably start working with people that are also earlier in their career, right? And then as they level up, say there's like a friend at an ad agency, or someone finds you on Instagram, hey, that's a DP. Or maybe it's a friend from high school or from college. I'll have them come in because I know them. And that network is actually almost more important. And so you fake it. You say, yeah, I'll show up and be the DP, even if you shot just a couple things in your house, right? And then as their career grows, they were comfortable with you. You figured out some stuff together. And then you get to grow with them, right? And maybe it's a director. Maybe that's an ad agency. Maybe that's some other type of corporate work. It doesn't matter. As they move forward, they'll call you back. And they'll recommend you to other friends, right? And then your experience will grow anyways. But if you're not in the role, if you're not in the slot to grow, then you will not grow. So I highly believe in faking it until you make it. I highly believe in this way of operating. And even if you fall on your face a few times during this, you'll realize that branding still works. And so if you just keep pushing, you keep going, ultimately that will be beneficial to you in the end. And what happens with this is you start to attract more of what you want to do. So if you wanted to get even more nuanced with this, I would also, like I said, if you shoot one wedding, you get two more. So say you want to get into music videos for whatever reason. Well, then so you shoot a spec music video, right? And then you shoot it because it's free or for low money, put as much of your stamp on that as possible. Start creating your brand as that role. So if you're like, I like low key, moody type stuff, narrative feeling music videos. Okay, well then try to make one like that, right? Because if you say I'm this type of DP, maybe it's a poppy, really bright music video, but you're like, I really want to do like low key stuff. Well, then you might get called to do another poppy music video. So make sure you kind of do that early. Try to kind of create that brand early. And I know you're like, but I want to take every opportunity. And I totally agree. But if you can kind of put your little stamp on everything, so not only are you faking it as your role, then you're also branding that role, branding yourself and creating a style, which will then help you get other jobs and attract people that want you to shoot those style of jobs, right? So a lot of upfront work can be done to kind of help aid you through the rest of the process. But I think you need to be clear about what role you do want to do. So I would test it all first. That way you don't fail so many times doing the thing that you say you are, that maybe it's just not aligned for you. And then that actually starts to tarnish, I'm going to call it your brand, your personal brand, who you are in the field, right? So be careful about that. So that's why I really suggest on the testing phase first, practicing, seeing where you really like to fit in on roles, and do this kind of behind the scenes. No one has to see that stuff. Practice things, work with other people that are doing the same thing, that are coming up and they're trying to learn. If you're not in film school or anything like that, which I'm sure a lot of people aren't these days, create your own little community, your own little film school, right? But start working on stuff, because you won't know until you start working on stuff. And you won't know if you're a DP until you start DPing stuff, right? So I truly believe in the fake it until you make it mentality. And I think there's something to glean from that. So if you want to be a DP today, tomorrow, be a DP today. Pick up a camera, shoot something, post a frame on Instagram, and then you'll be well on your way to becoming a DP. Okay, that's it for me in this video. As always, guys, until next time, I'm Central Sakurai. Peace.